Welcome back for our next game, Cloud9 versus OpTic Gaming. Now, it's easy to pop off when you've secured the Baron, but for our next segment, we focus in on Smoothie, who in his game versus 100 Thieves broke his back to make the play happen. Just to say, I'm helping. Presented by State Farm.
It is a Kalista, so they could try and burn it down, but it's at 3,000!
Oh, Tarek ultimately going to just try and take it down before anything else happens. Ryu gets suppressed.
Oh.
Target Svenskeren out. Licorice does it out to Ryu, and that's going to take him down. The ulti follows. The Baron goes to Cloud9.
And why 100 Thieves want to force this fight? Because they know that if Baron gets low enough, it'll get rented. Smoothie there, flashed over, so that his part of the Tarek ultimate would land on Svenskeren. It saves his life from the Malzahar damage. Meanwhile, Licorice goes in, 1v3 almost there to pick up the kill, flashes away at the end, and the heals from Smoothie kept him upright as well.
Yeah, and on top of flashing in to save Svenskeren's life, he also saved the secure of the Baron, because he got taken very low even after all that, so he'd be able to smite the Baron down.
Also had the stun on the Malzahar, so Licorice could go in on a priority target. Like, all of that out of Smoothie was completely perfect.
A multi-layered I'm helping play, if you will. We'll see if he puts up another one of his own here in Game 2 of the day. Time to send it over to Freak and Azael to get us into Champion Select.
Thank you very much, Dash. Hello, welcome back to the stage, and let's see who's going to be fighting. Look behind. Oh, it's blue versus green. It's going to be great. Cloud9 up on the blue side. I don't know what that transition was, but it's Cloud9 on the blue side with Licorice up in the top lane, Svenskeren in the jungle, Jensen in mid, Sneaky and Smoothie in bot lane. Smoothie specifically is helping Coach Reaper.
And on the red side today, their opponents are going to be OpTic Gaming. In the top lane, Zig. In the jungle, Akaadian. Mid laner, PowerOfEvil. Bot and support going to be Arrow and LemonNation with Coach Zabatine.
Fun one to watch for here. We'll see just what happens, of course. It's a tale of two teams at opposite ends of the table. Cloud9, 3-1, OpTic Gaming 1-3. But if last game's any indication, that doesn't matter. You can be kind of logic any day you want to be. Of course, keep in mind that OpTic had actually, their most recent win was taking down a 2-1 team. So there's a good chance that, you know, when they played FlyQuest, of course, at the end of last week. So they have been able to punch above their belt before. It does seem like OpTic's a team that has been steadily improving over time. We'll see if they can improve to the level of Cloud9 in this one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, they have had so many close games, right? So many almost wins against very, very good teams, right? Almost beating TSM, almost beating Team Liquid. Yeah. Now they're going up against another team near the top of the table, Cloud9, and we'll see if they've improved more week over week and if they can get a win.
See what comes through into this one. Cassiopeia, Galio, Zoe, all off the table here. Galio definitely has been making a bit of a resurgence as a champion, more commonly built full AP. Azir also gone.
Give me 6 mid lane bans. Get them all out of there. Get Ryze out of there. Get Malzahar out of there.
And Talia, I think would be, if we're going to go for 6. I would actually put Talia as 6. We'll see what it actually ends up being,
Malzahar and Ryze is already 6.
I know, I was cutting down Malzahar. Okay, it's Kog'Maw, which actually, if your PowerOfEvil is a mid laner, he played it at All-Star. This is legitimately can be a mid. Yeah, that's right. All right, so about 5 games ago in PoE's career. And now we get to see what OpTic wants to get rid of for themselves, and then we can see Cloud9 first pick Ryze.
Yeah, this will be interesting because there has been a lot of mid lane focus in OpTic Gaming's matches over the last couple of weeks. We've seen PoE bringing out Syndra, in part because of the fact that there were all these bans that allowed him to kind of play it in, and maybe we'll see him go for something like that today. He's actually been having Orianna banned against him quite a lot here too. Despite the fact that it wasn't one of the Power 4, simply because he's so comfortable on it and really does like it. And
he can build Nashor's Tooth Orianna with a Nunu. The synergy writes itself. He has to lock this in.
He also has played Kayle mid lane, which I think Kayle is actually incredibly strong with Nunu.
I agree.
I doubt that we're going to see it against Ryze because that sounds terrible.
Sounds miserable.
At the same time, maybe we could.
So this is interesting. Evelynn did get nerfed in 8.2. It was actually North America's most common jungler actually through the first week of 8.1, maybe the first 2 weeks. But I also feel like Nunu was generally considered a counterpick to Evelynn because you can just counter jungle her camps and keep her farm down. She's more of a scaling jungler. Either way, not going for it just yet. The blind Gnar going to come through for Cloud9 on the top side, giving Licorice a good chance at a winning lane matchup regardless of what he goes up against. And now we'll see what else they pick.
Yeah, we'll see if Zig is willing to take any of the kind of more traditional counter picks to Gnar, because they are usually pretty risky, right? It's things like Camille, it's things like, you know, you can see Kled deal with it if Kled gets ahead. That's something that Zig used to bring out as a signature pick, but you get behind in those sorts of matchups where you don't play aggressively, then you simply get poked out, you get pushed out, and you generally have a lot less use than that Gnar will.
So Varus in for Sneaky. Want to point out this is 5 unique champions in 5 games right now for Licorice. You can consider Kled, Camille, and Gnar pseudo tanks that they do frontline for the team occasionally, but it's all been fighters for the most part. Physical damage fighters, 5 in a row, different ones every time. Licorice doing his best to make a name for himself, and clearly the team has a lot of faith in him.
And I think he's been doing an incredible job, right? Based on expectations coming into the split, people had him probably as one of the lowest top laners.
Bottom 2, bottom 3.
Top laners, right? And he has been performing, I think, incredibly well against some incredibly tough competition. Last week going up against Huni and Someday and definitely holding his own, in some cases besting them. So really has been very impressive. And because there's been so much focus on how will Licorice do, I think that Sneaky and Smoothie have been talked about perhaps less than is so deserved, because they have been so good, I think, so far this split. Jensen very consistent as well. Svenskeren, I think, about what people expected, but the bottom lane from C9 has been incredibly strong, has been innovating somewhat, and some of the first to bring out the double spell book. In the bottom lane, Smoothie has been super on point, and in my opinion has been the best performing support player so far this year.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely great, and now we do have slightly desynced roles since we have no jungler grab for Cloud9 and no top laner grab for OpTic Gaming, and yet we do have a support ban coming through for Cloud9 regardless, but OpTic could of course easily pinch down the jungle role for a little while. Of note though, Sejuani, Jarvan, Zach all up. There's a lot of great junglers out there.
There definitely are. And looking over at OpTic's side, I also like the direction of their draft, because I think Arrow has been very good as well. I think he has been back towards his kind of spring split form from last year, where he was very strong, and even previous to that getting the spring split MVP. Definitely performed very well, but you have a Nunu to buff him up. You have the shields coming in from the Orianna. I'll be interested to see if they take it one step further and even go another defensive support. Something that could be even more kind of to buff him up. So things like the Janna, the Nami, these sorts of supports can be very, very powerful, but obviously Kalista also pairs super well with just an Alistar, with Engage, with things like that, and that is still on the table. So we'll see where they want to go.
What they want to do for themselves. Final bans come through. A top lane ban comes in for Cloud9, getting rid of the Jace from Zig. All these NA top laners play a ton of Jace in solo queue. It doesn't always work so well on the stage, but still threatening enough to get the ban in here. And Urgot gonna come through. I do not know the Urgot Gnar matchup, but it's something that Zig is clearly gonna play for himself.
I cannot say I have a lot of experience with this matchup either. Traditionally, you do see Urgot as somewhat of a lane bully, but I do think it is somewhat conditional. Usually in solo queue, people are picking this into a lot of melee matchups where he is very, very strong. The W is somewhat short range though, and it can be difficult to actually get up on a really good Gnar player because they have the additional range with the boomerang. They can be poking you down, harassing you out. But that being said, if you can actually connect with your Q, get up on them, flip them in, you do have pretty powerful gank assists. You can kind of run them down, and anytime you knock someone low, the ultimate is there to kind of go for an XQ. But this is pretty interesting, and I do like this from teams when they are willing to show these counter matchups. This is something that we've talked about in the past, and we talked about on the dive quite a bit with Riven coming out. A lot of solo queue counters and a lot of solo queue picks can work very well in competitive play as long as you have the confidence to bring them out, and as long as your team knows how to play around it and is willing to do so.
Sure. Want to quickly shout out Zig for also being 5 unique champion picks in 5 games. This time around that he's on kind of his first non-tank, considering his other games were like Ornn, Maokai, Cho'Gath, etc. So like something a bit more damage focused. Of course, Alistar comes through for Smoothie. It's going to be a fun one to watch for. Plenty of hard CC down to that bot lane. One final pick for OpTic. What's the support going to be? Tahm, Kench. Keep the back line safe.
Okay, very interesting. And we're also going to have to find out how Zig is actually going to build this, because there's very wildly differing builds for Urgot. Sometimes in top levels of play, in Challenger and things like that, people will simply rush Righteous Glory, go full tank, not even be building really much damage. They're using it more as kind of this person who can farm out lane and be a little bit of a pseudo-engage later on. There's also obviously fairly aggressive builds, things like the Black Cleaver into Frozen Mallet, even Death Dance is kind of a step further for that. I'm expecting more of one item like Frozen Mallet or Black Cleaver into tank, but we'll see what we get.
Okay, let's see what comes through into this one as we are getting ready to go into the game. Final thoughts from the respective coaches on these sides. Reaper has been with Cloud9 for quite a while, took them to Worlds, the best performing North American team at the World Championship last year. Zabutine, a former O Gaming caster, French language caster, has become the coach, kind of brought on by the new OpTic GM for League of Legends with Romain Bijard, best I can pronounce it. It's French, it's hard, but
12 out of 10.
Thanks, I appreciate you. And now, of course, we have the lineups once again on your screen. Cloud9 taking on OpTic Gaming, 3-1, 1-3 respectively. I want to call a lot of attention to Arrow in the bot lane as he's been exceptionally good so far this year despite OpTic's slow start to the split. but they're against what could be the very best bot lane in North America with Sneaky and Smoothie, who have been on point all the way through. Let's see who it's going to be. The crowd's ready to go. Monka S in the crowd there as well, alongside the Cloud9 logos. Let's get into it. C9 versus OpTic. Game 2 of the day.
Definitely going to be an exciting one, especially with the Urgot being brought out. Really curious to see how that goes, but some pretty interesting mastery choices already to point out. Arrow was going for the Summoner Spellbook on Kalista. Definitely something that I find to be pretty atypical. Mostly people are going for Lethal Tempo or Press the Attack. LemonNation going for Glacial Augment. He was actually playing Glacial Augment. Morgana, and I think is actually quite strong on Tahm Kench here too. And then also worth noting that Akaadian is playing Guardian and not the Summoner Spellbook that we saw Reignover bring out last time. And that is something that is a very, very high win rate for Nunu in solo queue. It does add a lot of consistency, and there is going to be so much protection for Arrow in this composition when C9 has this very CC heavy comp, and you have a Tahm Kench to pull him out. You have the Nunu to zone. You have this front line of the Urgot as well.
Absolutely going to be the case. So bot lane, of course, an important lane here in this one. Despite being considered underdogs, LemonNation feels confident coming into today's matchup.
Cloud9 is a very strong team for sure, but I think we can shit on them.
I like the smug smile at the end. That's
He
the
knows
best
what
part.
he did.
He knows what he said. He swore on camera.
He made a funny. I like it. I like the confidence. We'll
I
see
do
how
too.
if LemonNation's going to be able to back it up. You got to respect when people trash talk before the game.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be said for people who trash talk after they won. That's easy. You got to trash talk before you win and see if you can back
I
it
give
up.
up first blood. We lose the game. For me, I'd be like, you guys suck.
That is actually what you do.
Yeah. I feed, lose the game, and then I'll trash talk Azael. You didn't ult me enough on kill, buddy.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So back to the game at hand here. It is going to be very interesting to see how this bottom lane goes. I do think Varus is quite a strong early laner, and Tahm Kench obviously more of kind of the defensive support rather than the aggressive. But if Smoothie wants to try to really do anything in this lane, you open yourself up to allowing Tahm Kench to be more kind of aggressive, allowing him to really fight back a lot more. And we're gonna have to see how he plays it, because Tahm Kench really does shut down a lot of what Alistar wants to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. And honestly, pre-6 Alistar is not that tanky of a champion. He's going Aftershock, which will help a little bit, but if you actually get licked up a few times by Tahm Kench, you can just get just chained down by the Kalista damage output. So things to watch out for, and Smoothie might not go have it pulverized for several minutes this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him just play it very, very defensively unless Svenskeren is around on this jungler, and Akaadian kind of making his first moves down towards the bottom lane, getting a ward down there, and we'll see how well he's going to be able to track this Sejuani, and if he's going to be able to get these early camps, if he's going to be able to get any early dragons.
You know what I'm excited for? PowerOfEvil ran Fleet Footwork on Orianna. He's going to get himself some attack speed from the precision. Got a Nunu on his team. He is going to be exciting. I'm excited for PoE to be an attack speed Orianna. He named his solo queue account after that. He hit rank 1 in the ladder. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, he probably is going to go Nashers then. You have to expect
Legend Alacrity.
with this sort of build. Yeah, Legend Alacrity. He went Presence of Mind. Very interesting. But you do have to kind of worry a little bit, like how is his mana going to be affected by this, because he has no mana flow ban. I don't believe, unless, okay,
No,
never mind. This is
he's Inspiration secondary. But Presence of Mind's not too bad, though. It does give you the 7 seconds
I
of
thought I
infinite
just
mana.
saw it on him on screen, though, so now I'm
Yeah,
wondering
because he leveled up. That's how Presence of Mind works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's actually reasonable. Presence of Mind actually, I think, is actually a lot of mana regen. A lot of mages have been running it more and more often. You just kind of blow a couple combos, basically, every time you level up, and it feels all right for yourself. So
That in
Do it come
combination with the fact that we're expecting a Nashers with this sort of window means you have no Morellos.
Yep.
You have no mana flow ban. Yes, for laning, Presence of Mind can be very, very strong. And can be very strong in team fights if you can actually manage to get those kills. But in siege scenarios, in some of these different types of situations, I think it is somewhat risky, because you are going to be pretty hard pressed, I think, to keep your mana up. But
Totally
you're going to have to see how well he navigates it, and if he goes to Nashers, how well he pulls it off.
Ooh, and the Pulverize lands on 2, so they get the quick stun elimination as well. And they get Arrow at about half HP, so that's the kind of combo you want.
Done.
And it's hard to play Tahm Kench, because if you're close enough to devour Arrow, you get stunned by Pulverize. If you're not close enough, then Arrow gets hit a whole bunch. So a nice little opening there by Smoothie. Gets a couple of chunks in, and going to force that door and shield region out of Arrow.
A little bit interesting to see Akaadian's first buy be a Null Magic Mantle and just the boots. Maybe just a little bit worried about running into or dealing with this Sejuani plus Ryze combo perhaps going to go for something like early Merc Treads, which could make some sense. That's basically what I'm guessing, because there is a ton of CC.
Every single person has a Merc Treadsable CC on the Cloud9 roster. I totally get it, and I think it makes sense. Obviously, we know Nunu, I think his primary stat is move speed. Generally speaking, just be in the right place, so I like it actually.
Vision is also obviously very important though, and there is going to be a fight here around mid lane. PowerOfEvil is out of mana.
Ooh, and despite the flash, still gets tapped in the second half, the W Sun's going to land right there. Good damage up, but they're into Akaadian, and that is a trade won by Cloud9, forcing the OpTic duo away.
Definitely so, but one of the differences here, in this game compared to the last, is that Akaadian on this Nunu has not really been able to actually get in his opponent's face and take away any camps. It's actually Svenskeren that's level 5 to Akaadian's level 4. Akaadian has not gotten an early dragon. He has not stolen away camps. He has not really been able to do much of that. And it is the Merc Treads rush, but also does not have the Tracker's Knife, so he's not really providing too much for his team right now. That does not mean that he can't be very useful later, but I mean, you're not adding really gank pressure. You're not adding vision control right now. He's kind of just walking around trying to get some farm.
Sure, absolutely the case. If you can get his dual lane to have priority once again, you can go for the Drakes with the control that your Kalista TK could provide you. But right now, Cloud9 doing a great job of keeping the pressure on. And yeah, if Arrow and Co are under turret,
Nice
this is no way to
combo.
help that. Yeah, again, the stun's going to land. Another stun's going to land there on LemonNation. And Exhaust actually burned because they're afraid for their life. Summoner down to the bot lane.
That was actually so well timed by Smoothie. He backs up and then goes forward right as Arrow is going for the cannon minion. So right as he tries to last hit the cannon minion, he combos in. They get a lot of damage and pressure out off of that. And Smoothie, again, finding ways to make this work and has just been playing so incredibly well this season. In what we thought could be a very, very passive lane, kind of forced upon this Alistar, he's finding ways to be aggressive. He's finding ways for them to get advantages.
Yeah, kudos to Cloud9 playing it well. Despite being pushed down, OpTic actually farming pretty nicely. They're up 4 CS heading into this wave. It'll about equalize as a result. TP in for the top lane. Zig just matching what Licorice did a second ago. This top lane, though, +5 for Zig. He's doing pretty well so far on this Urgot.
Yeah, and expecting him to go for a Black Cleaver off of this. Definitely do not think that's going to be a Trinity Force. So probably Black Cleaver in a tank, but he could go for more of an aggressive split push style 1v1 type build if he wants. There certainly are a lot of options there. There's Sterix, there's Frozen Mallet, there are all those sorts of things if he wants to try to duel it up.
Shout out Azael during Game 5, going to be on the lounge alongside PowerOfEvil during Game 5. So if you want to see more of PoE or more of Azael, probably mostly more of Azael, tune in during Game 5.
Ben will also be there, so it should be a lot of fun. Excited to hear some of their thoughts on the games.
Should be fun to watch for. As the mid laners continue to scale up here, Arrow going to grab some fruit and jab some spears from that poor Scuttle Crab.
Only so. Kind of waiting for Akaadian to make his first move. I definitely don't think he wants to just sit back and kind of farm it out, because in my opinion, Sejuani just gets so much more from this style of a game, right? Unless you really can start pressuring objectives and taking away camps, I just don't think the new has added too much. If they're confident that, hey, I can just Blood Boil max and add more in teamfights from that, then that is something. And we'll have to track how well he's going to be able to perform.
All right, so it looks like PowerOfEvil is going towards his old build of Rod of Ages and Nashor, so the Roa is what gives him a little bit of mana sustain. That'll give him a decent amount here. So, yeah, I know you mentioned again that mana regens can be a concern, and it still definitely can be on this champion, but so far he's going to be building up. So, okay for now. Licorice on Gnar on the top side of the map, still just trading back and forth against Zig. It's been a pretty low frills early game, honestly, ought to be said.
Yeah, they do secure the blue buff there for PoE, so certainly no mana issues for now. He's going very even with Jensen here in the early stages. Both sides kind of just farming it out. And really, as you said, no major advantages to be had. And despite the fact that Sneaky and Smoothie have been pressuring more heavily, it's Arrow that's up a little bit of farm. A tiny bit of a lead up in the top side, but basically even in mid lane, basically even in the top lane. And jungle fairly even here as well.
Sure, yeah, decent job of catching up now. Akaadian actually hitting level 7 about the same time that Sven has, so doing reasonably for himself. Still no Sightstone of sorts to come through for Akaadian, actually. He's picked up another Ruby Crystal instead of Tracker's Knife, so is really delaying that by quite a bit.
Plus the Hunter's Potion, right? Even going for the additional sustain there.
Right. And Hunter's Potion plus Ruby Crystal costs what Tracker's Knife does, so he's several times now opting away from that option.
Yeah, definitely just a very different approach here. And it'll be interesting to see if he just isn't going to go for that right yet. If he may just rush towards a Bomby Cinder and try to get a very early Cinder Hulk. this may be a different style of Nunu than what we saw from Reignover, right? Reignover was very focused on early dragons, very focused on counter jungling. This may be more of an attempt at team fight.
Oh, nice player there. She buffers the E, so the knockback doesn't really matter to him. Zig with good mechanics and predicts the ulti out of the Gnar, I should say, out of Licorice. That was pretty cute. I know it looked weird, but trust me, that was Zig being sick.
Yeah, that's pre-buffer. It's a similar way to how Tristana Rocket Jump works, right? Once you already have that going, he's actually just kind of pulls himself back out of that Gnar. And so that insane Nunu gank walks in, gives him a blood boil, and then leaves. Very impressive stuff.
Good stuff out of him. Yeah,
Svenskeren is down here. They could actually go for the Tahm Kench if they can catch him. There's enough CC.
Ulti's gonna land, so he's gonna kidnap him. Yes. Oh, nice flash!
Nice.
Really smart elimination. Predicts the play from Smoothie. That's a trade of flashes.
Exactly. What Smoothie's trying to do there is after they eat him up, he flashes in and then knocks them both back into the team. And then with Svenskeren there to follow, it's almost a guaranteed kill, but they may be caught out here anyway. Jensen has arrived.
Nice play by Arrow, though. Kites back, has the ulti in there. He's actually going to toss him back in. LemonNation wants to start this fight, but be careful. So the rest of the squad is there. Jensen's going to do quite a bit of damage. Nice stun across the wall, and that's not going to be the first kill just yet. The shield's popping up, even though Sneaky gets first turret in the bot side.
Yeah, a lot of men down on the bot side here. Flash is blown there to escape, and Akaadian does steal away that scuttle, but his first turret for Sneaky, and off to a very good start.
Really solid stuff of that duo, and Jensen jukes him back and forth. He's still in a bad spot.
I mean, he's still not able to get to the minion wave, so either way, OpTic has kind of accomplished what they're trying to do.
Yep. Ice blasts him, now he's fine, I guess. All right, back they go, kill the ward. 10 gold apiece, and back to the wave for they go. But yeah, 1,000 gold lead now for Cloud9, courtesy of their duo lane just honestly outplaying, and Sneaky and Smoothie kind of continue to add evidence to the claim they are the best bot lane in North America.
Yeah, definitely do very well for themselves. It looks like Akaadian looking to start up this dragon here now. PowerOfEvil getting comboed up though.
The damage is there. LemonNation getting stunned up, pushed around, and yeah, happy to be once again, but now Smoothie left a little bit alone. Has ulti, he's not under too much danger right now, and able to walk back out. They know they can't really invest the resources to kill Smoothie without having to deal with Jensen's wrath. Sneaky nearby as well. Rage Blade done, so first power spike already in for this Varus, and his ulti basically up again already. So Sneaky on a bit of a power spike for himself. A nice stun, gonna chain that together as they get half HP. Puts on the shield and flicks his wounds.
And it's actually the C9 Dragons. They have pushed them on. They're the ones to secure that first objective, so definitely well done. More power coming from that bottom lane. And Licorice, Arrow TP's up top side.
Wave the Rune King slow, Ren slow, and there's one. The flash not
no.
quite in range! Oh, the fear beyond death not gonna come through, but Akaadian here for an ice blast to the face. Absolute zeroes in, the auto attack comes through, and weirdly enough, first blood goes to OpTic.
Yeah, as funny as that looked, it's actually probably better that it missed now that the first blood goes on to Arrow.
Yeah.
You'd rather have it on your Kalista, but maybe you should have held on until he actually used his E for that dash forward, get a little bit more distance there as well. Either way, they do get first blood over onto themselves. They're pressuring this turret, but C9 is already pushing up bot side, looking to pressure this tier 2, and they have Rage Blade on Sneaky. He's going to do a lot of damage to this, plus Demolish.
Demolish from Smoothie. They really did want to play around bot lane. Pressure right there, nice headbutt, pulverize. The ulti coming across the wall. Keep in mind, a flashless, ulti-less Urgot just doesn't have a lot of health, and he's going to burn down. Ignite comes through. Smoothie gives himself the first kill of the game for Cloud9.
Very nicely done. More pressure. It's all been about this C9 bot lane so far for them. Getting more pressure on the bot side, looking to push up again on the tier 2. We'll have to see who is going to be the man to respond. Arrow was heading back to base, did cancel. Not sure if he wants to actually match up against this 2v2 lane just yet.
We'll see what comes into this one. 1,200 gold lead though. Cloud9 up the Drake as well. Feeling pretty good on this. LemonNation looks like he's going to start up the Rift Hero for the squad. So we're going to keep trading objectives on different sides of the map. Actually, no, just smacks it and runs back away. Looks like they're going to play for a vision now, as Akaadian finally does have his tracker's knife, so the wards can come down. Sen kills a Sentinel.
Going to be working out for him, but definitely feel as though Svenskeren has been kind of the more useful jungler so far this game, applying pressure, helping them to get that bottom lane first turret, taking the earlier dragon. And yes, obviously, partially that is to do with the success of his lanes. It's harder to counter jungle on a Nunu if you do not have pressure. But you know, if a Nunu is losing in the early stages, it's never going to feel very good. And Akaadian is starting to max his Blood Boil second, so he is putting points into that now. Obviously, going to be focused on the team fight stages from now. He will still obviously have very good objective control here too, you know, securing the Baron, securing the Dragons later if they do decide to go for that. We saw how strong that can be in the CLG game earlier with Kalista and Nunu.
Sure. It'll be fun to watch for. As we saw with the CLG game, they were actually pretty happy to play slow alongside Nunu as well and just trust that all the stats they gave to a carry was going to be worth it. And maybe the way these teams are actually approaching Nunu games is, you know what, let's take a slow early game. Let's actually just wait till we get team fight power.
Certainly so, but to Reignover's credit, he took 3 Dragons.
He did.
Relatively early, and he was counter-jungling his opponent.
Yeah.
Akaadian has done neither of those things just yet, right? Akaadian has been doing his best to put on some pressure, you know, by showing up in lanes, by, you know, blood boiling his
Hey, he got an assist, he towered out.
You know, doing a little bit here and there, but for the most part, he's just been farming his own jungle and kind of trying to be there in case Svenskeren ganks to counter gank.
So we'll see what comes through then as LemonNation going to make his way over to spot the fact that Rift Road's being taken. The squad's nearby as well, and good luck outspending a Nunu. They might have to disengage in this one. Smoothie hold on the front line alongside Sven. Ooh! Flash on a 2-man stun. Here's the absolute 0 to disengage, so Smoothie going to get pushed right back out. He's already popped the ulti. Shockwave pulls in 2 again. The Smoothie will not take much damage. Then Kalista pulling LemonNation right back out. Will there be a re-engage? No, the team's going to walk away. Blastcone there for the escape. C9 already in position. No kills, and a couple summoners down.
Yeah, and Zig wasn't with the rest of the squad, so no real way for them to re-engage that. I don't think he can go for a 1v5 flank type of situation. So we'll see how he's going to be able to find relevance in the team fighting. You know, the lane has gone even. It's been fine for Urgot. It's just a question of how much can he do in the team fights, right? You know, can he actually match the split push or match the usefulness that Gnar is going to have later on?
Things to watch out for then. We'll see what comes through as Assailant for me. I said things to watch out for about 17 times last game. I really said it again, so that's why I like
Things to watch out for.
Things to watch out for. Me saying things to watch out for. Incoming YouTube video with the counter in the bottom right corner. Just through the middle lane pretty well for himself, and now Sven back on farm duty. We do have, once again, a bit of a slower mid-game. There's been some staging around Rift Herald, but no one really willing to pull the trigger for the hard chase in the team fight. These squads have disengaged pretty well. Arrow fully on first item. Berserker Reason as well. Pretty much the same spot that Sneaky's at. Having a kill is going to help make up for the fact that the first turret gold was given over, of course.
Yeah, definitely so. The Rage Blade power spike for Varus is so big, though. You always feel like you're at such a strong point from there. I'm expecting him to go for simply a Hurricane second, especially when there are kind of 3 guys who are going to be up in the front line.
Yeah.
You know, with this Urgot, the Nunu, and that Tahm Kench. We'll see if he's going to go for that, or if he wants to go towards Blade Rune King, just to be able to simply kind of punch through an individual there. But either way, I think Sneaky is at a very strong point. And I do think that a C9 going forward, especially when they start to hit, you know, 2 items, could look to force some fights.
Really a minor thing about Sneaky right now, he's running Gathering Storm in the Sorcery pack, which is giving him, you know, 10-ish attack damage or ability power. But because he got Rage Blade and no attack damage yet, it's only giving him AP because Rage Blade has more ability power than attack damage. So it's AP Varus right now for Sneaky. He's huge.
Those fat
got
ultimates.
Percent health damage. He is also running Ultimate Hat. So he really is playing around, making the hard engage.
Varus one-shots. Get it on YouTube.
He'll get a Natural Tooth also, and he's like, hey, PowerOfEvil, 2 could play at that game. Oh, Pee-wee's at the Fiendish Codex. You know what's next. Stinger. I'm excited. I really am. If it goes in Umbrella, I'm kind of going to be so sad.
Yeah, I don't think it would, simply because that's kind of doubling down
I know.
man items. You don't expect that. Akaadian starting this up, since here is around. He should be able to secure it if he can get it low enough.
Oh, and again, Arrow just bringing his support to safety and engage down here on the bot side. Yeah, 2-on-2 here, and Akaadian forced away, very low on health. As Jensen shows up in for this one, Shockwave already burned, didn't do much for it. A giant stun comes through Zig, the flash wave, the chase is in, and Jensen gets the second kill of the game, 1-0-0 for him. The Dragon, Drake, not gonna happen.
Yeah, both times that OpTic has looked for one of these early dragons, they're pushed off, and it's gonna be C9 again, going for it. You can even see that the blue buff being taken away. Licorice is going to be leashing that up there for Jensen. They can then push down on the bot side. They're going to get their second dragon of the game. And on the top side, forcing out the defensive Kalista ultimate there as well in the 2v2. So winning on both sides of the map again.
He'll win, don't worry. No danger for Sven. He knew all along he was going to be fine for that one. And so, second Drake of the game goes over to Cloud9. Jensen walks past a turret to look for a recall. Doesn't stop one. He's just fine. Abyssal Master done already. He's scaling up pretty nicely. We can watch this Drake fight once again.
Yeah, here it is again. Licorice coming down, having that Gnar bar charged up. Jensen making the rotation. The shockwave missing everyone there actually from PoE, and that's going to give C9 full confidence to chase in and complete this fight. But honestly, even if it did hit, I don't really see them having enough damage to turn that fight around. Zig was already getting pushed out. Akaadian was already extremely low, had no more damage to add, and PowerOfEvil is not going straight for the Nashers. He's
getting
going to pick up a Haunted Guise for now.
Then Nashers. I actually heard that was his build, actually. He'd grab a Haunted Guise for a flat magic bend just to have a little bit more burst, and then he would transition. So was it actually true? But someone told me that was the build, and I trust whoever told me that. I think it was Jad. Maybe I shouldn't. It's Jad after all. I don't know where we're back talking Jad today. I like him a lot. He's a good person. But control it over the Baron Nasher pit. It's going to be Cloud9 first to try to make that sort of control happen. As Midland gets threw it away, PoE back under turret once again. This Ryze push is doing quite nicely.
Arrow just TP'd to the red buff. So red buff secured, Arrow. There you go. Definitely great use of that summoner spell.
Yep. Puts it on a 3.5 or so minute cooldown. Back to the bot lane wave.
I'm not really sure on the thought process of the Summoner Spellbook here for Arrow. I don't think the TPs have done too much. Maybe he wants to switch to a cleanse later on, but we'll see how effective that is going to be as C9 pushing up here. Looks like they will knock down this turret.
And they get it, just barely the damage comes through, and now there might be more of an engage. The headbutt forwards comes across, and I ulti to get some slow, but no kills. He's got a big knock of the shockwave in as well. Will they knock down Jensen, but no, he pops the stopwatch for a little bit more time. The pull back in, Fear Beyond Death strikes it into the top laner. That's going to be a kill picked up. Sorry, the support as Smoothie goes down the chase, and he finds the slow. The flash forward arrow needs 2 more autos. He gets 1 for himself as OpTic are going to start picking up more in this fight. But the Q's going to land the Rents up from cooldown soon enough. Arrow's going to pull the ball back out. Can he get it? He's tried. He's got the hourglass. He pops the stopwatch to drop aggro. 3 kills already. The chase still in. Can Zig find another? It might not matter. It's still a 3-for-1 fight, and now they're looking at Baron.
Yeah, they don't have their jungler just yet, but Akaadian is respawning soon. They have the Kalista, so they're going to start this up, and Svenskeren is still out on the map. Has Smite, has the Ocean Dragon regenning him back up. Licorice is TPing back in. These are very low health bars.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty soon a 3-on-4 as the Alistars run back in as well. So a nice attempt by OpTic. They shouldn't lose much more than ward control, but yeah, they chose to go for Drake, or sorry, going for Baron instead of the mid turret, and I guess they chose wrong. And
at the very least, they get the TP, right? So you can't really say it was a bad call unless they cannot then convert on something with that TP being down, because they have Zig with his teleport. He can go down to the bot side, push that up, and try to draw Licorice down there, which could allow them to make a 5v4 play later on around Baron. But we'll see if they can actually force that and kind of get something from this. And here is the fight once more. Smoothie going in, not really able to find too much of a combo, just catching LemonNation. Big 3-man shockwave there from PowerOfEvil was very, very nice, and Akaadian kind of zoning them back. You can see that it looks so funny seeing people kind of on this horror house get pulled back into the Urgot, picking up the first kill. But Air was so close on getting the Ren reset so many times. He actually barely misses out there, barely misses out here. Had he gotten any of the Ren kills on those, maybe picks up a couple more kills because of that. Maybe they do clean it up because he did not get the reset on either one.
Yep. You can stack the suits, you can't hit E again for a while, and sadly those 2 champions lived. And you have to imagine, if he had killed Licorice, or he had killed Sven there, if that was the full 8, that's Baron, right? Like 1 more auto and that's Baron. So really tight timings there, but it's still OpTic doing a really good job fighting back in this one. Still the 2,000 gold deficit, plus the 2 Drakes they're missing. Should mean that Cloud9 ought to feel a bit better about this one.
And it is a full Leandries, so whoever told you that is a liar.
All right, well, I guess I was told he gets Mask, and I didn't know if that meant Haunting Guise or Leandries. So, common nouns.
Abyssal Mask.
You're right, it was Abyssal. Oh, my God, that's a nice shockwave there for just starting it out, but it doesn't matter. Akaadian just pops there amongst 4 people, spawning on top of him.
Yeah, no one to follow that up, so despite the fact that it was a really nice shockwave, there's no follow-up damage, and it's actually Licorice who's pushing up, may be able to get this bottom tier 2. Jungler is off the map. A C9 could be the one to lift the pressure.
They're going to miss as Zig can only wait for a little bit, and yep, bot lane tier 2 is gone, and now the attempt towards Baron to get a ward over the wall, and really just they're baiting for vision more than anything. They're not starting it. They're hoping to get rid of resources.
Look at Smoothie. He's looking for the engage here on the side. He has his Moby boots. He wants to find someone checking and catch them out, but Akaadian is going to be up, so C9 unwilling to commit to the Baron, and will not be able to get anything more than just the 1 pick on Akaadian.
Tahm Kench trying to pull the Ryze trick back. Does it by himself. Yeah, lands a Q slow, but can't land an auto, so no glacial to trigger just yet.
blocks.
Go, sneaky long time.
Lots of C9 vision around the Baron. You can really see all the pinks, all the wards they have kind of committed in this area. And OpTic wants to get in, clear that out. But C9 knocking down more turrets across the map. It's 4 turrets to 0. OpTic really has not been able to get out across the river and get much of anything done. It has been mostly C9 kind of pushing the pace, pushing up these lanes, and having side lane control, which certainly can be problematic if you're a team that's trying to get objectives, because generally the way that you get priority around the Baron, the way that you get priority around these dragons is by getting that side lane control. They just haven't had it. Here's the shockwave again, very nicely timed, gets 4, but there's no one else to follow that back up, so it's just going to be the one kill.
Nothing's coming in just yet then. Cloud9 getting to grow their lead actually. 4-0 in turrets. They've actually completely dominated the major objectives so far in this game. OpTic have gotten kills, but not much else. 4,000 gold difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's C9 with 2 dragons, the Rift Herald, and 4 turrets to no neutral objectives for the Nunu Kalista team. And they still may be able to get to the Baron and take it down, something like that, but you want to see a payoff on that investment for this comp that is supposed to be so strong around those neutral objectives.
It can come through eventually, but you're right, hasn't happened just yet here. Now as some more of the wards go away, OpTic trying to once again wrest control the top lane river. And now here comes a potential re-engage, a slow lands, but ulti coming across, gonna land a big stun and just pulled right back out by Arrow's ultimate. So pretty good job by this OpTic duo of keeping either side of that lane alive with the respective buttons. Everyone in the mid lane here and disengages on both sides.
And C9 gets the TP out of Zig there. So now it's going to be C9 with a TP advantage. You can see Licorice heading immediately back down to the bot side. He's going to be the one threatening to push up here and looking for that inhibitor turret, trying to make OpTic respond, but they're just going to group up, try to knock down this turret. Is very, very low. Should be OpTic's first turret of the game.
Here we go, first turret of OpTic's game on this one. Bringing the gold back within only 1,000. No, 3,000. Sorry, I misread for a second. Still pretty far to go, but going back into this one. Sneaky going for the single target build with Zen, and now Ruin King next up. So no Hurricane despite the very big front line here of OpTic game.
Wanting a little bit more survivability, perhaps. Not wanting to get one shot by this Orianna, perhaps.
Sure.
If PowerOfEvil could catch him out, but
I think it's a reasonable build.
Yeah, and I think they do have a fair bit of damage coming out from Licorice here too. He has gone for a more offensively focused build. But OpTic gonna grab the first turret, grab their first dragon, so they do pick up some objectives there.
The tide's coming around a little bit.
The side lanes again are kind of a problem for them, right? It seems like it's always C9 that have the push. They have the advantage there, and that makes it so hard for OpTic to ever get anything.
And despite that, they did get that turret in the Drake. So yes, they let the side lanes lapse for a bit and let the waves push in, but those turrets are mostly already dead, so able to trade in pretty well. The gold lead, of course, still remaining 3,500, and OpTic have to lick these wounds and catch back up. We'll see if they can get side lanes in control as Jensen's pushing in the bot lane, but he's pushing bot without teleport. He's actually backfilling Licorice down there. Yeah,
they're hoping that Zig will step forward and then they can get a kind of 2v1 jump on him.
Yep.
Be able to take him down, and this may be it right here.
Burns goes, gonna look for the empowered root. The E is still on, and this could be enough damage. Look at the output there, and Zig is gonna fall. What a nice play by Cloud9. They use Jensen.
And they're starting Baron, or no, they're just gonna go over to it now.
They are
starting it up, so trying to put pressure on both sides. They're gonna TP Licorice in, and Jensen is actually running. He saved his Ryze ult, so he can join in on this fight. And they may just commit to this one.
If C9 can zone away Akaadian, because good luck stealing from a Nunu or preventing a steal from one. Go the wall. They've got vision with the ball. This is very dangerous.
They can actually look for a Shockwave Nunu combo.
Over the wall, he's gonna flash for the headbutt, then pulverize to secure. Nicely done. They pick that up with the spike. Shockwave only for the Baron doesn't get the kill. They have traded back on a Smoothie, but Baron for a kill is worthwhile on the C9 side. Nice call right there. Smoothie sacrificed himself to make sure they get that Baron. I like it.
Yeah, really nicely done from Smoothie, denying any chance at the steal. It looked like OpTic was trying to set up for the Shockwave plus Nunu Smite Consume combo, and Arrow may be caught out here. That would be devastating if they lose their AD carry now.
Oh, 1 versus 3. Tahm Kench showing up, but it might just be LemonNation dying as well. He presses R into a 4-man, and the bot lane kills itself.
Oh, that is brutal for OpTic. They lose the Baron, they lose their bot lane now, and with the Baron buff on the map, that's going to be a lot of lost pressure. They can get these waves going and perhaps knock down a turret before they're actually back out there.
All right, Cloud9 look to make this a 4-1 start to the season. We watch this play again, and Smoothie, really good at League of Legends.
Definitely so, playing this very well. I wonder if Akaadian could have gone in a little bit earlier with the Shockwave and tried to combo it down from 2K with Smite Consume plus Shockwave. They might have been able to pull the trigger, but it's very hard to know and it's a very tough call to make because it has to be timed well. You know, if you flash in and you're not on point with everything at the same time, it's going to fall flat on its face pretty quickly. Either way, Smoothie gives up his life. C9 gets the Baron. They are pressuring here, looking to knock down more of these turrets.
Yeah, Akaadian's combo is about 1,700 damage between Consume and Smite, so...
Then you add in Shockwave plus the W, and that's, you know, 2,500 damage, maybe more. And that's something that you have to be able to calculate in the second, and then immediately call for the play and be coordinated with it. So it's very hard to go for those sorts of plays, but that can make the difference in a game like that, right? If Akaadian flashes in and he's the one who gives up his life, but they get the Baron, OpTic is certainly in a much better spot right now.
Absolutely the case, but not happening here. It's Cloud9 up quite a lot, 7K plus the Baron buff still on most of that squad. Bit of damage onto Akaadian. Arrow showing up for some damage, though. They're going to force that C9 squad away to get rid of some of the wards, and then trades it right back.
And lo and behold, we have our Nashers, so we'll see how effective he's going to be able to be. With both the attack speed and the AP working in his favor, we get quite a few attacks there, but
certainly
definitely going to be tough to actually punch through this front line. Auto attacks or no.
Once again, looking for the play there on Jensen. The Tahm Kench used by LemonNation, but can't quite find his opponent there as Jensen walks up into the left. Pressure on this top lane turret now as Akaadian going to zone away Sneaky, lands the attack speed slow, and they'll keep top lane tier 2 for a few more seconds, but it is on its last legs.
Yeah, it certainly is. And now they're pressuring down here on the bot side. Baron buffing this up. Minions are pushing in the mid lane here as well. All the outers are now down for OpTic. And one more fight could be the game if C9 can win it. But they're willing to kind of play this out a little bit more slowly and just try to bleed them out. They're controlling both sides of the jungle right now. Sneaky grabbing up the red buff, denying vision. And just trying to look to play this kind of game of attrition.
They are wearing OpTic down. More and more damage being dealt. 8,000 now, stretching the gold lead as Jensen gets a little bit of alone time. Well, I guess not alone time, but gets to do some damage as Zig puts him to half HP, and when you push them away, would be able to go for auto attacks. Top lane 2 has fallen, as we noted a second ago, and the red buffs here, they're getting more and more of the map for themselves. Back to 4 on mid, looking again to push Akaadian away, maybe PoE. Gotta respect this, he's got cleanse for himself. Back over the wall goes Sven. More damage on the mid inhibitor turret.
Closing in. They just keep these minions up there, knocking these turrets lower and lower and lower. The cannon working away at it. It's getting dangerously low. Also kind of interesting to point out Zig's build. So he did end up going for the Frozen Mallet, Black Cleaver, and is going into a Righteous Glory third. So we'll have a little bit of additional engage power there if he can complete that item and perhaps help him to find the right flip. Maybe turn a fight around.
Looking like that. We'll see if he can actually get anything done with it, though. It's, of course, a team with a large deficit. Things are going to be hard in that kind of case. Looking again for Jensen. This time Tahm coming in for the squad, puts himself a slow, and a lot of damage on Licorice, but there's got to be respect for Arrow as he kites back and then pulls in his support. Will there be more of a team fight? Looks like the answer is no. OpTic Gaming just does not have the damage to break through these more fed members of Cloud9.
So they have held their base. That is good. They're not losing any inhibitor turrets or inhibitors, but definitely a lot of gold going the way of Cloud9 during that Baron power play, knocking out the remaining outers, taking all jungle control during those few minutes, and moving over now towards that dragon, looking if they can pick up their third. They're very heavily ahead now. It is Blade of the Rune King completed for Sneaky, which is going to help him punch through the Nunu, help him punch through this Tahm Kench, and Urgot as well.
Good luck with this. Front line is tanky. And also a lot of damage behind it. Cloud9, the leading team. Double Cloud Drake now picked up for them. Faster rotations. Baron's going to be another 2.5 to 3 minutes to go till that respawns. And C9 may very well wait that entire time till it comes through.
And I'm curious to see what you think about the Phage pickup here for Arrow, assuming that's going to be a Black Cleaver, but yeah, a little bit of an atypical build there. Certainly more common to see things like a Bloodthirster or even a QSS in these sorts of situations, but since he has Cleanse that he can use from Summer Spell, look, what do you think about the Black Cleaver here?
I actually don't think it's damage optimal.
Yeah.
Because you're going to shred armor, and then that basically betrays your Lord Dominic's regards, because their bonus armor has now gone down pretty substantially, and you no longer, like, I just don't feel like there's almost ever a reason to stack Black Cleaver plus Lord Dominic's. The armor stack isn't even that high.
Yeah.
There's a Randuin's Omen and a Righteous Glory. And
there's a
Zoni. Like,
those are Svenskeren, that's it.
Those are the armor items in the team, so I don't know why you double stack. And this is going Triforce, which feels weird, and at that point, I mean, even so, I think if you're going for raw damage, Infinity Edge is going to do the best of that.
Yeah, certainly. So, also to add to that, I mean, the fact that Zig already has a Black Cleaver, you're already going to have armor strength.
I just don't see it
from there, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but perhaps, you know, highly prioritizing the move speed or
And
something.
CDR is not bad. Like, it gives stats that kind of matter, but yeah, Jensen's gonna be fine here. They're gonna try to take him anyway. Good flash get out of the knockup, but Exhaust is on. Goes
chasing him
helping.
down.
And oh, a knockback onto Akaadian, but Jensen's still staying in a decent spot. Guardian shield pops, moving the front line. The re-engage towards Ziggs, puts the kite right back away from Sven.
Yui over the wall.
They gotta respect
Sneaky
a lot of
might
this
get caught.
shockwave. A good flash away from Sneaky, but still look at the damage of it they got. They're gonna start slaughtering everybody too already. Look at the third as Akaadian's about to fall. One more shot does him in. A kill for Sneaky. And now a 5-on-2. This could be the push that ends the game.
Yeah, it looks like it will be. OpTic took their chance. They tried to go for a winning play. They're trying to not just bleed this game out. They go for Jensen. He gets away. The fight is turned around, and in goes Svenskeren.
You flash a slow into PoE. Sven's gonna land as well. Headbutt Pulverize in. The knockback from Gnar as well. Kill number 4 is in. The 5 is gonna come through as well. And no one left to defend the base. Cloud9 gonna improve. Now tied for first place at 4-1.
Very impressive game from them once again. Not much happening with the Urgot. It does not phase them. Licorice looking good in the top lane, and Sneaky and Smoothie are just looking so good this split.
Yeah, this felt like, above all other things, a win through bottom lane. First turret at 11 minutes. I mean, really doing well for themselves. A lot of farm, a lot of kills, and Cloud9 deserving with this squad of a tie for first place, at the very least, to end the day.
Definitely some cool stuff, though, coming out from OpTic. Able to see the Urgot coming out, able to see the Nashor's Orianna in combination with the new Nunu, which should be a powerful combination. But it never really all came together from them. They were very heavily on the back foot throughout most of this game, and I do think that, as you said, a lot of that is to do with the pressure bot lane had from C9, making it harder for Akaadian to get early dragons, making it harder for him to actually get in and getting counter jungling done. But it felt kind of like business as usual for C9. Very calm, controlled game, and really impressive engaging, again, from Smoothie.
LemonNation hugging a lot of his old teammates. Handshake for the rest. I don't know you guys as well, but Sneaky and Jensen get one. And high fives from the fans. Cloud9, yeah, can hold their heads high. Off to a pretty good run. And I think we can, continue to dispel the lose the off-season meme. The rest of the squad, of course, playing super well. And yeah, I will just continue to sing praises for Sneaky and Smoothie. I thought they were super, super good. They knew they had an advantage lane matchup. He ran Demolish on the Alistar. And they got an 11-minute first turret, and then they got more and more done.
Yeah, they did very, very well, I think, once again here as that bot lane duo. And for C9, honestly, for most people, as soon as they had seen Licorice perform, week in, week out for these 4 games, after last week, I think most people realized, hey, C9 is a championship caliber team.
Yeah,
they can be competing for the top. If Licorice is not going to be a liability against Huni and someday, if he's going to be competing and getting even solo kills in some cases against those top laners, well, he's not going to be having problems against any top laners probably in the league. At the very least, he's going to be a rock in the top lane, which is really what they need when the bot lane is playing this well, when they have a lane-dominant mid laner. They're definitely a very solid team.
Yeah, I think right now Cloud9 is an upper echelon team. They're ones you look for as a squad that can win a championship. Of course, you've got Liquid being super hyped. Echo Fox is the same record as them right now. You've got some ones, everyone keeps thinking TSM at some point is going to go and make the run.
Well.
I mean, the fact that the analysts at the beginning of the day said, yeah, we think TSM can go 10-4, but Echo Fox won't. Like, that was kind of what they were going for. So, I mean, a lot of people really believing in TSM. We'll see how much competition C9 will have in the future. Right now, though, 4-1 is pretty solid. For now, we're going to send it down to May and the Cloud9 support Smoothie.
Thanks, guys. Smoothie, you and Sneaky, such a successful bot lane. Why do you think you two work so well together?
I don't know. I've been playing on the team for like almost 2 years now, and me and him both play like almost every champion, so it's really easy to get along and play like whatever matchups we need to play. So I think that's just really a good thing for our team.
With all the new support changes and the Sightstone being removed, did those changes affect your guys' playstyle in any way?
Not really. So when the patch actually first hit, I thought range supports would come back a lot, but I guess the new Aftershocks is really strong. And no range supports are getting played right now. Maybe like some in EU, maybe some Rakan's coming back, but I guess melee supports are just really good right now still.
Now, does that fit your playstyle? Do you miss the range supports, or do you want to just keep playing on that Alistar?
I play everything, man, so.
What do you think of the bot lane meta so far?
It's okay. I don't really care about the meta too much. Just whatever meta champs are good right now, I'll just play them. And tanks are fun. I like tanks.
Now, you guys obviously have had a pretty strong and successful bot lane, making a lot of effects on the game. How important do you think bot lane is to the game in this current meta?
Well, I mean, right now it's definitely not the extent of like during Worlds where Ardent Sensor meta was a thing, but I still think bot lane's a really big. I mean, obviously it's like 2 of the 5 players on a team, but we're kind of just like role players. We just play whatever a team needs, and unless you're like Kog'Maw, then yeah, we just do what your team needs to do.
Now, Cloud9's LCS team is doing great, but your Academy team is also doing great in the Academy Championship. How do you guys scrim against them? How involved are you two with each other's performance?
Well, we actually scrim versus them a decent amount, like maybe like once a week or just twice a week. And we also practice with them before our LCS games actually, so in the mornings. They're actually really good, and there are some new players on the team, and they're learning really fast, so I expect good things out of them.
Is there a beneficial relationship between you two?
Well, so Golden Glue and Wiggly actually live in the house with us, so we interact with them every day, and it's really nice to have someone else to compare your matchup knowledges and just general macro stuff and builds. Yeah, I mean, it's just a cool experience that we never really experienced in the past.
Wonderful. Well, Smoothie, thank you so much for your time, and let's hear it from our guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Ovely. Cloud9 moving to 4-1, tying up Echo Fox here at the top of the standings with the win over OpTic Gaming. And as was kind of mentioned, you know, although the meta, or there have been changes to the meta in reference to that question towards Smoothie, we haven't necessarily seen a ton of new things come out, or at least not in the places we expected, because this game we've got an Urgot rather, as well as the Orianna in the mid lane running a fleet footwork of all things.
Combine that with a Nunu, you got this really weird low CC, very high move speed, run at you an auto attack comp, and it never really came online for the side of OpTic.
Yeah, and we learned that Fleet Footwork has a 0.4 AP ratio, so PowerOfEvil was healing amazingly in lane, but what's funny about listening to Smoothie's interview and then juxtaposing it with their team comp is he says him and Sneaky work so well together because they play everything.
Yeah.
And that's about the most bland team composition you can have. Ryze is the most picked band mid laner pretty much presence-wise. Gnar, Sejuani, Varus, Alistar, all very meta. So I think this was just a very solid win for Cloud9. They didn't have to reveal anything. They're good. They proved it.
Felt pretty vanilla.
Yeah, in that sense, like OpTic were the ones who kind of put themselves in the position where they had to take the driver's seat, and they were not able to. Zig was not getting any pressure in his side lane. The Kalista pick, while Arrow played it very well in team fights, wasn't really getting that much pressure down the bot lane. They actually lost their turret first off some like skirmishing down there. So it was a situation where C9 could kind of just sit back and say like, are you going to beat us? And then they weren't able to find
That's kind of the interesting thing, right? We look at this, we say, well, you know, good on OpTic for taking a stab at things. I know that Zabutin was pretty vocal about saying, you know, his approach with the team was going to be an approach of willingness to try new things, look for niche picks, and maybe find advantages that, you know, most people wouldn't consider to be standard.
Yeah, and I think if there's one player that needs to step up to make that work, it is going to be Zig. He's been picked in a few winning matchups and ended up losing them, and the game they won was when he was on Maokai to lose gracefully. But I do want to pay attention more to C9 right here, where when we're saying that it's a generic win or a basic team comp, like, that is not a criticism onto Cloud9. That is a
do what you need to do to get the W,
onto Cloud9. This, if you could, every team will take wins like this. You're going to take wins like this all the way to the end of the season, so a very promising
Right, but the point is that, you know, OpTic is kind of the team that came in with something to prove, in the sense they chose a comp we haven't seen yet before. So it was up to them to show something new and push the game forward. C9 and just kind of responding in kind.
Yeah, and I think especially for how C9's kind of been playing, where they have actually taken a lot of weird picks in the top lane, then play around them. If you can get a game where you just take Gnar, play very standard, and get away with it, so maybe you can save it for some more important matchups coming up in the future weeks, that's a great game all around.
C9 moving to 4-1. We're going to step away for a quick break. When we return, Clutch Gaming versus 100 Thieves. See you here after the break.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. Since we know the importance of lending a hand, we want to highlight players and plays that help the team bring home the big W. If you have a favorite assist from this week that you want us to highlight, tweet the clip with the hashtag NALCS and the hashtag State Farm Assist, and we may feature it in a future episode. So get out there and bring some support.